I'm Tim. That's the wild. I haven't got a kitchen handy, but often we cook outside. We go out and we forage for things, we shoot things, we go fishing, we go hunting, we take it back to my place in Scotland, we gather it all together, we turn it into some delicious stuff. So I'm just going to get my lobster creel here ready to drop and try and catch a lobster. I don't know how likely that is. They do catch a lot of lobster around here. We're not too far offshore. It's nice and rocky. As you can see, it's sunny. The water's warming up a little bit. They're starting to catch a few lobsters. Now around here, they use fish heads in the bait part of the pot. So the idea is you put some bait in here, and then what happens is Mr. Lobster comes along, he crawls in here to get to the bait, and then he's trapped, he can't get out, and then we haul it back up again, and it's probably be so full of lobster we won't be able to lift it up. However, I've got a little secret West Country trick up my sleeve. Rather than fish heads, I'm going to use a rabbit leg. Okay. Now this was a bit of wisdom imparted to me by a salty sea dog I know from Dorset, who will, I think, probably have to remain nameless, but he'll know who he is anyway. And it's obviously, like all modern technology, it's very well built. So we've got this little clip here that not only holds the portal shut through which we would retrieve our lobster when we've caught it. See, that little flap comes down like that. But that very cleverly keeps this tight and stops the bait coming out as well. So I'm just slacking that off a bit. Get my rabbit leg. Oh, I tell you what, it smells delicious. I think if you were a lobster, you know, that would be great. And if not, if we don't catch a lobster, the salt water will brine the rabbit leg and we'll have land lobster instead. Okay, great. Not that I'm not confident, I'm convinced we're going to catch a tremendous great Murray lobster. Tighten that up, push that through, make sure that that's hooked over there so we don't leave the exit open for our visiting crustacean. And it's a brilliant environmental way of catching, or environmentally sustainably friendly way of catching shellfish, because of course once you pull the creel up, if you've got anything in there that you weren't after, or if it's obviously carrying fertilised eggs, or if it's not big enough, we can just chuck it back over the side, it'll go back down to the bottom of the sea and live happily ever after. These creels won't cause any damage on the seabed. This is literally sipping from the edges. As you can see, I'm not much of a lobster creel fisherman. I expect the boys can... Oh, okay.
I'll go over the side. Push it up to George.
See, what you need is immediately, with amateur failure, is what I need is I need George on the rope. There we go. Goodness me, I nearly chucked the whole thing in and it wouldn't have sunk, it would have just floated off. That's the danger with these sort of films, is you can start looking like you're the expert when actually you don't know the first thing about it. Not only is this my first experience of dropping a lobster creel, but it's my...
We'll not show you up with your ignorance.
You'll not show me up with my ignorance? Okay, you feel free to show me up with my ignorance, that's fine. She's ready, securely locked up.
Right, we'll go and see we've got some more.
So that's it, lobster pot deployed. Fingers crossed, or you know, claws crossed. Any luck we'll get a lobster, if not it's slightly salty rabbit for supper. Beautiful mackerel. So I just gutted this beautiful fresh mackerel. Dan was kind enough to let us try his smoked mackerel, so I'm going to go with an old Rifford Cottage classic. I'm going to take the fillets off, cut some up raw, and serve it with a little bit of soy sauce for everyone to have a little try. bit of that, a little bit of that. Oh, delicious, so nice. How about that?
Wow.
That's something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better save a
It
bit.
actually
for it.
doesn't taste anything like you expected
No,
to.
no, no.
I don't really know what you expect completely raw fish to taste like, but
We'll have to save a bit for camera, Dan. Otherwise,
yeah.
yes, he says.
Just take them.
Otherwise, we can do that, can't we? We'll sail the Vagrant up the Thames.
Aye.
And can you tell us a little bit about the boat, Dan?
Well, aye, this was on a lifeboat. She was built in Morgan Giles Yard in Teignmouth in Devon in 1948. Built of double diagonal mahogany on oak, very hard mahogany called Red Moronti. And she came to Bucky about 25 miles east of here in 1949 as a brand new boat. She's exactly the same age as me. Our keels were laid on the same day. And she had a 20-year service in Bucky and then a 10-year service all around Britain, but mostly in Ireland. And
As a sort of relief lifeboat?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One was away to be repaired or overhauled, she was step in. So after a total of 30 years of service, she was sold out of commission and bought by a diver on the Clyde. And a friend of mine was working on a fish farm in the Clyde and took home a photo. And as good luck would have it, the diver had built a new house with borrowed money and he wasn't managing to pay it back. So he either had to give up the house or the boat. And 34 years ago, I went down and made him an offer and she declined. But I was only home about a day when he phoned and said, I'll accept your offer. Which was less than half of what he wanted.
Right, can we see our lobster creole? Oh, there they are, just there! I'm so excited. If there's anything in there or not, I don't really care. It'd be brilliant if there was. But it's the first time I've dropped a lobster creole, and it's mine now. I'm really happy about that. There it is.
Here you go.
Oh, I've got a tiny, tiny crab, and look, a lobster.
No way.
A massive one. Look at it. Look at that. Now that's a present to have in your creel, isn't it? Look at it. Look at that little. Wow. How happy is that? Don't drop it, Tim, don't drop it. Don't get bitten by it either. Oh, look at that.
Really?
Look at him. Oh, whoop, what an absolute beauty. Well, I'm going to go and put him safely in the cool box. I'm afraid, mate, that your days are numbered. So, we've got our lobster. I've got some boiling water here. Back in the bad old days, we used to take a lobster and plunge it straight into the boiling water. These days, particularly on a hard-won lobster that we've carefully plucked from the sea ourselves, I'm gonna give it the kiss of death, the mercy blow with the knife. And when the seagulls shut up, I'll show you how to do that. We just push the knife in at the back. There's a cross point on the back of the head of the fish. I'm gonna be super careful with this lobster because I don't want his lobster popman's revenge occurring. When you buy lobsters from the market, they've been carefully rubber banded shut on the claws, and this one obviously hasn't because it's just come straight out of the sea. So what I've got to do is watch out, make sure he doesn't take a little bit of my finger with him. So he's in here, he's in a cool box, he's on ice, so he's very calm and relaxed. I'll just put him here. You can see there's a cross, runs down the middle of the head, the lateral line there on the lobster, runs straight down the middle, and then here, where the back of the head goes across, That's across, and that's right above the central nervous system. So we put the knife on the back, and it's going to flap a bit when it goes in, but it is the kindest way. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Lobster's dead. Might flap a bit when we take the knife out, and then he's going to go straight in this lovely pot of boiling water. I'm just going to push him down because it's not the deepest pot in the world. I'll pop the lid back on. That water is as salty as the sea, really salty. Now that's important because lobsters live in salt water, and if you try and boil them in just plain fresh water, it's not going to work very well. I'll pop the lid back on just to keep the water temperature up. I'll set the timer for 15 minutes, and that'll be lobster done. So that's my lobster, beautifully simmered away for exactly 15 minutes for quite a nice big lobster like that. A bit less maybe for a slightly smaller one. I'm just going to take it off the stove, and then I'm going to carefully drain it off without dropping the lobster back in the harbour, and then I'll allow it to start to cool down. So I'll just get rid of that. I'm just going to take him out, pop him on a little board to cool down. Now lots of people will then take a lobster or a crab like that, and they'll plunge it into icy water to cool it down, which is understandable because you want it to cool down quickly. But actually, if you just leave them to cool down, they cool down pretty quickly. 10 minutes you'll be able to handle it, and that stops it getting really watery. So all this steam coming off it now, that's helping to sort of stop it being sort of wet and watery inside the shell. If you plunge it into water, it just sucks up a load more water and you end up with watery lobster meat. While he's chilling out there, I'm just going to make a little bit of dressing to go with the lobster. We're going to put a bit of the lobster in some of these nice baguettes, and then I've got some reduced lobster stock there for us to dip it in, but it wants a bit of something else as well. So yesterday in the trusty Bradley, I put a litre of good cooking oil, good clean fresh cooking oil into the cold smoker and set it going for 6 hours over oak smoke. And so I've got that smoked oil, and then I've whipped that up into a mayonnaise. So I've got a smoky mayonnaise. How about that? That's a bit out there, isn't it? I wasn't expecting that to be part of my life, but it is. Here I've got some Heinz tomato ketchup. Other brands are available. Haven't quite got round to making my own ketchup yet. So I'm going to make a sort of Mary Rose sauce, really. I'm just going to put some lovely smoky mayo in the bowl there. Excuse my plastic lids and trays and things. Bit of ketchup, not too much, not too much. And a little bit of lemon juice as well. With my blunt knife. Bit of lemon juice. Put that together. And so it's a bit of a trick. A bit of a mind trick, because it just looks like normal Mary Rose sauce, but actually tastes smoky and incredible. Something different. Oh, easy. So still nice and warm. Probably going to try and burn me a little bit, but I don't care. I can't wait any longer to eat this lobster. It's amazing how you get hungry to get out on the boat. So I start taking the front claws off, but don't just break them off. I twist them around so that they pull out these bits. And you see these bits here? This is a good thing to show you. These are the gills of the lobster, okay? Same with the crab, they call them dead men's fingers. Ooh, you mustn't eat them, you'll die. Actually, if you mustn't eat them, or you might get a bit of a tummy ache. They're not poisonous, they just irritate the stomach lining. Anyway, I digress. And then I'm gonna take the head off the lobster by twisting the tail out like that. Oh, look at that. Oh, and this, all the good, lovely flavour in there, we're not gonna throw that away. That's gonna go to make the next lobster stock, and the same with the rest of the shells as well. So this is the tail piece. What I do is I push that all the way back, and then I push it so that I break the back end off the tail, and then I push the lobster on his side to crack the shell, and then I should be able to just peel it a bit like a giant prawn. Look at that. Oh. So excited, so excited. And then that's how it's done, Dan, that's how it's done. And then we'll just break the claws open as well. And it is still nice and hot, but not insane. Well, don't break the glasses. I tell you what, I've got an idea. Break them on there, so we don't, and that way we don't risk damaging. Yeah, I popped it in there to keep it cold. Damn. Oh, that's how the lobster then the claws come out like that. You pull that piece out, that stops that bit of sinew being in there. And then if I had a little prong, I'd get that little piece of meat out of there, but I think that can wait until next time. After all, we're cooking on the harbour side here. We've got a tiny little bit of, you see where this red is here? That's the eggs before the lobsters hatch. You see where it's slightly black there? That's when before they get cooked, okay? So they just won't look very nice in the salad or in the bun, but actually, even not quite cooked, they're delicious. Last thing to remember with the lobster is we're gonna take a little cut through there and we're gonna just pull out anything, you know, that looks a bit, not the eggs, we're not gonna worry about them, but the digestive tract in the middle there with any little bits of grit or food left in it. And I'm just going to cut this into pieces like this. I've got these little baguettes, just nothing fancy, just, you know, shop bought baguettes. You could use nice homemade ones if you like. I'm going to put some of that smoky mayo in there with the Mary Rose style additions to it. I'm going to put a bit of lobster in here like this. Oh, look at that. Now all that wants then really, along with a little glass of wine, is a bit of parsley. Just going to chop a bit of parsley. Oh, look at this. Dan he's not only is he the finest skipper in the northeast, but he's also he's very modest. He's also brought some wine with him, which is just fantastic. So then we've got that lovely looking lobster roll, which is a sort of swerve on that New England classic, which would be in brioche. But rather than just go with that Mary Rose, we've used the smoked mayo from the Bradley smoker. And then down here, just to finish the deal, we've got the stock from the last lobster I bought, hopefully the last lobster I ever have to buy. Now I've got my own creole. I'm just gonna dip that in there, and that's just gonna seal the deal. Look at that. Oh, it's going down, I've gotta eat it. Oh. Smoky, lobstery, it's got the stock, it's got the sweet fresh lobster. That is delicious.
Thank you.
You are welcome.